Hello, this is Gio, and this is a kitchen door that goes down to a basement. You just open her up, and down to the basement you go. And this house has a cat that has a cat litter box down in the basement rather than having in the living area. And so what they want to do is to install a new cat door. And so went ahead and purchased this little cat flap here from Ideal Pet Products, and I will show you how to install that today. Okay, so taking everything out of the box, of course you have the cat flap and some screws. And let's see, the cat can go in and out. It has a little locking mechanism. It's a little magnetic apparently. And it has, let's see, some of these instructions. No, these are just some little one. Oh, here's the instructions. So the instructions are actually on this little template plate, which has little 4 screws here. And so you're to put this on your door, and so you can drill in these 4 screws and then cut accordingly. Now, one of the differences on this door is it's one of the older doors. It's not just simply flat. So it has this kind of molding piece on the sides and the bottom, and it's thinner in the middle. I do want to put the door kind of not centered but on this side, but you got to be careful with the edges. So if you put this template right here, one of the things you have to be careful with, you drill your holes here, but you have to remember that those are just where the holes are, and then you're going to butt to here. So you kind of want to maybe offset that little template a little bit to make room for the edge here. Okay, so the cat door does just pull apart just like that. So there's 2 sides, and one side will be attached to the side of the door. The other side will come around, and when you put the screws in, it'll attach from the other end. And so it just holds together, so it doesn't actually hold onto the door, but holds onto itself and kind of compresses. And so I'm actually going to use one of these sides rather than the template, which you can use here. And if you do a template, I recommend using like a level to make sure it's level. But since I'm kind of using this molding as my guide, I'm going to use the side which has the exposed holes, just like that. Okay, so basically, now this does go this way, but I'm going to just turn it around and kind of use that as a template. And since I know the edge of it is right there, I'm just going to kind of lean it there and lean it on the bottom and use a pencil to kind of mark each hole location. Hopefully they all show up. So I'm just going to put a little X where they show. And this is where I'm going to drill my holes, and the holes are supposed to be 1/2 inch or no larger than a 1/2 inch. So I'll go ahead and do that now. I have a 1/2 inch bit right here. Okay, so now that I have my 4 holes, I'm just going to take a little level, not necessarily to level it, but I'm going to be just drawing a line from the tops and the sides. And that is what's going to guide me in my cut. So from the top of that hole and on the edge of that hole. So not from center to center, but from the out. So this will just basically be the outside of the hole. Okay, so I did my template. I have my little jigsaw here, and I'm just going to start sawing along the line. And there you go. It's all cut open. The piece fell out nicely. And just to verify what I have here, I'm going to stick this in, and it fits very nicely. Alright, so one of the things I want to do with this one, typically you would install the cat door facing this way. You would see the screws in the interior, and the locking mechanism would be accessible in the interior, since this is quite often installed for exterior doors. But since this is a basement on the other side, I actually want to flip it around so it looks much more cleaner and a more finished look. So I don't care if I, don't have, the lock is not accessible on this side, because I could just open up the door and lock it up, and it's no problem. So I'll go ahead and install it this way. Now, you'd think it would be just really easy to install 4 screws. However, like I mentioned earlier on, this is an older type of door, and it doesn't have the correct thickness that these typically are designed for. Look at, as I shut this, look how thick that is. That's just thinner than this thickest piece here. Now this is a much thinner board, and for older homes with these kind of doors, this is a problem. So I'm going to have to do something a little more special. So if I, just to show you, if I install it like this, squeeze it together, you can see it moves. So on the back side, I'm going to have this flush, and on the back side, I'm going to have to kind of put some kind of a support on the other side, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, to solve the issue with the door not being thick enough in this middle part, I just had to make a little extra riser there with some extra pieces of wood, and then carefully I go ahead and stick this in here. And there you have it, a lovely cat door.